Joined now by ESPN senior NFL insider, the one, the only Adam Schefter. Adam, thanks for the time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Mark. Nice to be with you.
You got pleasure's all mine. All right, a couple months ago, we all thought the Giants were probably going to be targeting a quarterback at 3 if they could get one. Now the tide has turned. Latest reporting, maybe they go best player available. What are you hearing with the Giants and what Joe Schoen are trying to target or trying to do with the 3rd overall pick?
It feels like it's tracking that way now, Mark. It does feel like Shedeur Sanders, who at one point seemed to be destined to go either 2 or 3 to Cleveland or the Giants, now feels like that's not going to be the case and that he's going to slide there a little bit out of the 2 and 3 spot. And so, again, we're 2 weeks out of the draft, but the way it certainly seems like it's tracking right now, it feels like Cam Ward is going to go number 1 to the Tennessee Titans. And at number 2, the latest scuttlebutt has the Browns taking Colorado all-purpose standout Travis Hunter, which at that point in time I would think would leave the Giants with Abdul Carter. And that's not a pick that I think a lot of people might have thought they would have made it initially. But as this draft process unfolds and as certain things become more and more clear, that's the way it feels like it's tracking right now. But let's see what happens here in the next couple of weeks.
Any concerns from NFL teams or specifically the Giants, the shoulder injury, which he sustained late in the season for Penn State, played in it in the national championship game, and obviously the stress reaction in his foot. Any kind of concern there for Big Blue that you're hearing?
Mark, there have been some injury issues, and obviously teams are putting him through thorough medical exams, but the guy's a standout blue chip prospect, and it's hard to pass that up. And here's a draft that doesn't have that many of those blue chip players. This is one. And so if he's there at 3, and if Travis Hunter does go to, I would think that that's the way the Giants would wind up going with Abdul Carter. They spent some time with him. Brian Daboll was on campus at Penn State on Sunday to have breakfast with Abdul Carter. I can't report to you what they had for breakfast. We're going to save that for ESPN's draft coverage that night, nor where they ate. But I can tell you that further meetings are scheduled, and it sounds like he's going to spend Thursday this week with the New York Giants as well.
Well, Adam, I'm a big Eggs Benedict guy. I really am. Any kind of breakfast, you get Eggs Benedict, it's pretty good, no?
Well, I think the key when you're ordering breakfast like that, and maybe Brian Daboll and Abdul Carter did the same things, you get what you want, and then you get an order of pancakes to share for the table. You can't go wrong with that, Mark.
No doubt about it. I want to get back to Shedeur for a second, Adam. What was the buzz coming out of his pro day? I know Travis was out there as well, out in Boulder, but what was the buzz in terms of how Shedeur performed for NFL teams out in Colorado?
Look good. Nothing that they haven't seen. They've studied all the film of him. He's played for so long and made so many throws, turned around so many college football programs. They know what they're getting. I think that was just a chance to go out, see how he interacts with his teammates, see how he interacts on his college, in his college environment around teammates. It didn't do anything to hurt his stock at all.
Let's move over to the Jets a little bit. What are you hearing in terms of the Jets with the 7th overall pick? There's been rumblings about potentially moving Breece Hall. Where do you think Muji and his new head coach are going to decide to go?
Well, first of all, a few things here. I think the Jets have done a great job at keeping things in-house. That's number 1. Number 2, I don't think they're moving Breece Hall. I think that that's chatter that's not real substantiated. Now, maybe something changes around the draft and they wind up moving Breece Hall, but that's not the sense that I've gotten from people. And where the Jets go in the draft, look, if Membu, the offensive tackle, is there, I could see that being the case. If he's not there, I could see Jalen Walker, another pass rusher from Georgia. But to me, it'll be somebody in the trenches on either side of the football, offensive, defensive lines. I think Aaron Glenn knows what worked for him in Detroit. Yeah, that when they built their offensive lineup, that was key to that team turning around before they lost all those players to injury this past season. All the talent they had up front on the defensive line was very critical. And look, you just can't go wrong picking players in the trenches.
You know, Adam, I want to ask you about Justin Fields. They brought him in from Pittsburgh, gave him a short-term deal. Tyrod Taylor is still on the team. We saw Fields lose his starting quarterback job to Russell Wilson, obviously a more accomplished quarterback than Taylor is on the NFL level. But how short of a leash do you think Fields is going to have on that starter's job?
Yeah, I don't think they're thinking like that right now. And I think the evidence is that even if Shedeur Sanders were there at their spot, I think they're riding with Justin Fields. They're committed to the guy. They gave him a 2-year deal, paying him $20 million a year. And I think that they'd like to ride with him, see it out, and have him turn into the type of quarterback that they believe he can become. So, you know, short leash in season. We're getting ahead of ourselves, hypotheticals. The only thing I could say to you right now is I don't see them taking a quarterback in the first round, which should tell you that they're standing behind Justin Fields.
When are we going to get a decision? You know, the Aaron Glenn and the Jets and Muji made the decision to move on from Aaron Rodgers. When are we going to get a decision, Adam, on Aaron Rodgers in terms of when he finally signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Mark, I think he likes to have everybody live the way that he has lived in the past, in the dark, and not knowing what's going to happen. So, like, if he's gone on these darkness retreats, he wants the public to be on their own darkness retreat when it comes to his football future.
Let me ask you, Adam, if Rodgers asked you to go on a darkness retreat, would you join him?
Yeah, if he wanted me to go and it meant peace and quiet and I could shut off my phone, why not, Mark?
Yeah, there you go. Well, Adam, you're brilliant at what you do, and we know you're also getting ready for the draft, or you're also busy raising awareness about type 1 diabetes. Tell us about your work and what you're doing with the One Pledge.
Well, thank you for asking, Mark. I appreciate it. My wife, Sherry, is a type 1 diabetic. I've watched her manage her disease all the time, and I think it's important for people to get out in front of it. I make my living with information, getting information, and I'm hoping that people can go in, talk to their doctors about type 1 diabetes, and ask them about screening, because basically an unexpected type 1 diabetes diagnosis can have serious impact. Having more time to prepare can make a difference. That's why screening for T1D early is important. Screening can give you valuable time to prepare. And I know I've been engaged by Sanofi, but it's a really important message to talk to your doctor about T1D, ask about screening, and for more information, you can visit screen4type1.com to learn more. That's screen4type1.com.
Adam Schefter, NFL ESPN insider, also author, and doing great work to bring awareness for type 1 diabetes, the One Pledge. Adam, appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me today, Mark. Appreciate it.